Have you ever heard words so gentle yet so powerful that they stayed with you for years? Words that didn't just reach your ears but went straight to your heart. What if you could hear the voice of Jesus, not as distant scripture, but as a living, personal message meant just for you? Imagine this. One sentence from him could calm your fears, lift your burdens, and remind you you're loved beyond measure. These aren't just words, they're life itself. When Jesus spoke, people didn't just hear him. They felt seen, valued, and restored. His words had a way of reaching the deepest wounds and filling them with hope. They could stop storms, call the dead to life, and bring peace to restless hearts. But some of his most heart-melting words weren't said in grand miracles. They were whispered in quiet moments, one person to another. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. These words aren't an invitation to religion. They're a lifeline to a relationship. He doesn't ask you to fix yourself first, to be strong first, or to prove anything. He simply says, come. And with that one word, the heavy weight you've been carrying starts to feel a little lighter. Or think about when he said, do not be afraid. Over and over in the Gospels, those 4 words break through fear like sunlight breaking through clouds. They don't deny that danger or uncertainty is real. They just remind you that his presence is greater. And then there's I am with you always. Not sometimes. Not only when you're doing everything right. Always. Through the darkest nights, through your biggest mistakes, through the seasons when you can't see the way forward, he is there. These words aren't meant to be just read. They're meant to be received, like a personal letter from the one who knows you completely and still chooses you. One of the most heart-melting things about the words of Jesus is that they were often spoken to people who least expected kindness. He didn't save his most tender phrases for the religious elite or the socially respected. He spoke them to the overlooked, the rejected, and the hurting. Think of the woman who had been bleeding for 12 years. She approached him quietly, hoping just to touch the edge of his robe and slip away unnoticed. She got her healing the moment she touched him, but Jesus wouldn't let her remain hidden. He stopped, looked for her, and when she came forward trembling, he called her daughter. That single word did more than confirm her healing. It restored her identity. She wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was family to him. Then there's the moment with the thief on the cross. As he hung dying, enduring unimaginable pain, Jesus turned to a criminal beside him who said, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus replied, truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise. No long list of conditions, no delay, just immediate grace and assurance. Those words would have melted the heart of a man who had nothing left but regret and fear. Or when he spoke to Peter after the resurrection. Peter had denied him 3 times, and the shame must have been unbearable. But on the shore of the Sea of Galilee, over a simple breakfast, Jesus asked, do you love me? 3 times. Not to condemn Peter, but to give him 3 chances to affirm his love, wiping away the sting of his earlier denial. And when Jesus said to the weary, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you, I do not give to you as the world gives, he was offering something no one else could. A peace not dependent on circumstances, but anchored in his presence. It's a peace that can hold you steady when life is falling apart. These moments reveal a pattern. Jesus' words always reached past the surface and spoke to the soul. They didn't just address the problem, they touched the person. They melted hearts because they came from a place of perfect love. Some of the most beautiful words Jesus ever spoke came in moments when others would have walked away. He didn't just speak to comfort. He spoke to call people into a new life, a life they didn't think they could have. Take the story of Zacchaeus. Here was a man despised by his neighbors, known for cheating people out of their money. No one would have invited him to lunch, let alone honored him publicly. But when Jesus passed under the sycamore tree where Zacchaeus was hiding, he looked up and said, Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today. That one sentence must have melted a heart that had been hardened by years of greed and rejection. It told Zacchaeus, I see you, and I want to be with you. Or think about when he said to the paralytic, take heart, son, your sins are forgiven. Before healing the man's body, Jesus healed his soul. Those words cut through years of shame and hopelessness, replacing them with courage and belonging. Then there's the quiet power of follow me. He said it to fishermen, tax collectors, and even those considered outcasts. It wasn't just a command, it was an invitation into purpose, relationship, and transformation. The simplicity of those two words hides the depth of what they offer, a whole new direction in life. Even in the Garden of Gethsemane, knowing what awaited him, Jesus spoke words of surrender that still inspire. Not my will, but yours be done. These words show us that love sometimes means yielding completely to God's plan, trusting him even in the darkest moments. What melts the heart about the words of Jesus is that they are never empty. They carry the full weight of his character, truth, compassion, and power, all in perfect harmony. When he spoke, it wasn't to fill silence, it was to fill lives with hope, purpose, and love. The words of Jesus were never meant to stop with the person who heard them first. They were meant to overflow, to ripple outward, changing entire communities. Time and again, we see moments in the Gospels where a single conversation with him didn't just transform one life. It set a chain reaction in motion. When Jesus called Zacchaeus down from that sycamore tree and chose to stay at his house, it wasn't just Zacchaeus who experienced change. His decision to give away half of his possessions and repay 4 times what he had stolen meant dozens, maybe hundreds of people in Jericho felt the impact. A community that had been hurt by greed suddenly saw justice and generosity. The same thing happened in Samaria. One afternoon at Jacob's well, Jesus spoke to a woman no one else wanted to be around. He told her about living water, revealed he knew her story, and for the first time in years, she felt seen without being shamed. She ran back to her town and said, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did." Her testimony brought the whole village out to meet him, and many believed because of her words. We see it again when he healed the man possessed by a legion of demons in the region of the Gerasenes. That man had lived among the tombs, feared by his community and chained by his own torment. After Jesus set him free, he begged to go with him. But Jesus told him to go home and tell how much God had done for him. And that's exactly what he did. The people who once feared him now heard hope through his story. Even his smallest phrases could carry this communal power. You are the light of the world, he told his followers. Not you might be, but you are. Those words lifted ordinary people into extraordinary purpose. They were called to shine, not just for their own sake, but so that others would see and be drawn to God. And that's the beauty of the words of Jesus. They are never meant to be kept to ourselves. When they melt our hearts, they can also soften the hearts of those around us. His words create circles of grace, where love and truth spread far beyond the first listener. By the time Jesus reached the final days of his ministry, the world around him had been saturated with his words, words that healed, restored, and redefined what love truly meant. But the most heart-melting words were still to come, spoken in the shadow of the cross. In the upper room, knowing he would soon be betrayed, Jesus told his disciples, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love." Imagine hearing that from the one who had calmed storms, raised the dead, and fed thousands. It wasn't just instruction, it was a declaration. You are loved with the same love the Father has for me. Those words must have settled deep into their hearts. Then, as they shared the Last Supper, he said something that would echo through history. "This is my body, given for you. This cup is the new covenant in my blood, poured out for you." In those words, he wasn't just telling them about sacrifice, he was giving himself completely. Even in Gethsemane, under the crushing weight of what lay ahead, his prayers held tenderness. He prayed not only for his disciples, but for those who will believe in me through their message. That means he was praying for you, centuries before you were born. And on the cross, in the midst of unthinkable pain, his voice still carried words of compassion. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." To the thief beside him, gasping for life, he said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." To his mother, he said, "Woman, here is your son." And to John, "Here is your mother." Even in death, his words protected, included, and restored. When he finally said, "It is finished," it wasn't a cry of defeat. It was the completion of everything his words had promised. The forgiveness, the healing, the peace, the love, they were all secured forever. These are not just lines in an ancient story. They are living words, still carrying the same power to melt hearts today. They tell us that no failure is final, no sin is too great, and no distance is too far for his love to reach. The words of Jesus are not frozen in history. They are alive, breathing truth into every heart willing to listen. The same voice that calmed storms and spoke peace to fearful disciples is still speaking today into your fear, your shame, your questions, and your loneliness. When he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest," he means you. Right now. He's not asking you to get your life together first, to earn his attention, or to prove your worth. His invitation is unconditional. His arms are open, and his heart is already leaning toward you. And when he whispers, "Do not be afraid," it's not because your problems don't matter. It's because his presence is greater than any problem. Those words have carried believers through wars, loss, uncertainty, and grief. They are strong enough to hold you too. Every promise he's spoken is an anchor you can hold on to. I am with you always. You are the light of the world. Peace be with you. These are not abstract phrases. They are personal messages from the one who knows you better than anyone else. But here's the thing. His words aren't meant to just comfort you. They are meant to move through you, to touch others. When his words melt your heart, they also soften your posture toward others, making you quicker to forgive, slower to judge, and faster to love. So today, let this be your choice, to not only hear the words of Jesus, but to live them out. Let them guide your steps, shape your responses, and transform your relationships. If this message has stirred something inside you, don't let it fade. Spend time with his words, write them down, speak them over your life, and let them speak through you into the lives of those around you. And if you want to keep walking this path, stay connected with us here at Holy Path Insights. Subscribe, share this video, and join a community committed to letting the words of Jesus shape the way we live. Together, we'll keep listening, keep learning, and keep loving, until his words aren't just heard, but seen in the way we live every single day.